Hey guys, welcome back to UModeler. In this video, what I'm going to be doing is modeling and blocking out a sci-fi lamppost. This sci-fi lamppost was inspired by an AI generated image that I prompted and kind of put together. And so in this video, I'm just taking some of those references and kind of working through it, starting at the base and then working up to the top of the lamppost itself. And of course, most of my base is just all block out, just getting in the shapes and getting in all the details of the lamppost directly. All right, and so at this point, I'm pretty much good. All right, so now that we have our block out of our street lamp, then let's go ahead and actually start adding a little bit more details to this. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and use my polyline tool here, and I'm just gonna click, drag down. Awesome. And I'm gonna go into my face tool and I'm going to go ahead and push pull tool this in just like so. So that works out pretty good. And what I'm gonna do is go ahead and select this, and I want to go ahead and kind of make it as even as I can, kind of eyeballing it. And then the next thing, I want to kind of round this out. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and select those edges here. And I'll just go ahead and add a nice little bevel to it, right? And just to give it a little bit more shape, I'm just going to take this and I'm going to bring those closer like that. And then I'll take them as a whole and just kind of do something like that. So that gives us some area here that we can add some color to if need be. All right. So next, what I might want to do is go ahead and create the back here, and what I'll do is just simply bring this down like that just to give it a little bit of slant. And what I want to do is select all these edges, and I just want to add a basic bevel to them, and I'll just put that on a 1 just like that. I think that is a decent bevel there. I'll just put 0.065. I guess that could work. Looks pretty basic, pretty good. All right. And I don't want to overcomplicate it. We just want to keep this as basic as possible. So what I want to do is move on to this piece here. So what I want to do is now add a little bit of shape to this guy here. So first of all, I want to make sure that it's long enough. So I'm just going to put this in here, just like so. And what I want to do as well is actually, I want to bring this up. And what I'll do is take the inset tool, and that's going to be right here, like so. And I'm going to take my face and I'm going to extrude this down into this piece here, like so. All right. And then what I'll do is take this and bring it in just like that. Awesome. All right. All right. Next, I want to take the edge line tool here, and there we go. And I'm gonna add a bevel to that as well. So that should work pretty good. And I'll do the same thing for these as well. The edges here. Awesome. Have a little bevel there. Be consistent with that one. Cool. All right. And then what I'll do is go ahead and take this top part and I'll just kind of bring it closer in like so, like that. I think that will work. All right. And then what I want to do now is I'm going to take this piece and we're just simply going to make it go around like in here. And we want it to just kind of be like a piece that kind of wraps around it, but we're just going to smash it into this object. Pretty simple. So what I'll do is I want to go ahead and put a bevel pretty much, I guess you can say, on pretty much all those edges. And let's see if it's going to work for me. There we go. Nice little bevel there. There we go. And maybe just like about right there. Looks like that could work out pretty decently for me. All right. So that seems to be giving me something there. And I think what I want to do is add a little bit of angle to this as well. Either angle that way or angle this way. Let's see which would be better. That one could be better, because what I'm thinking is adding an angle to this part here so that it matches it. That could work. Awesome. All right. And then what I want to do is grab the polyline tool and I'll click there. All right. And I'll do the same thing here. Awesome. All right, and I'll go ahead and save just to make sure. All right. All right, so far so good. We're just adding some nice beveled edges and some angles here just to make it look interesting. All right, and then what we'll do here for this piece is actually go back to this part. What I'll do is do the inset tool, and really what I want is to create like a hole here, but I'm see an issue here. So let's go ahead and see what we got going on. Now, because of how that was created, looks like we can go ahead and make some edits to this. I think it'd be better to maybe not even have this here. So what I'll do is select this, and I'm just going to basically fill this in. So I'll just do a bridge like that, and then I'll do a inset for this area here, just like so. And then I'll just use the push-pull tool. Oops, push-pull tool like that. And then inside this area, what I think I'm going to do is just see if I can curve these areas inside here using the bevel just to make it more interesting. There we go. All right. And then for this piece here, I'm just going to bridge these pieces, and that should be it there. Awesome. And see how that looks. I'll take this and I'll just push that into here. All right. And it's looking good. There we go. All right. And then what I want to do now is simply take this pole part, and I'm just going to simply add a bevel to this, and we're just going to reduce that bevel a little bit, and I just want to make sure that it has an edge there. There we go. Looks pretty good. All right, and we're going to do the same thing for this piece and do a bevel, and we're going to bring it in just like so. So again, we're just adding some bevels to this just to make it kind of work. And then what I'll do is add some loop cuts to this part here, just like so. And then I'm going to take it and add a little bit of, just to add a little bit of indent around there, just to give it that sense that it's supposed to be that way. I wonder if I can add a bevel around this part, kind of like that as well. It works out pretty good. Now you could add, I could do an inset here. Shouldn't really need to, but why not? I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Actually, no, I'm not gonna do it because it's an unnecessary amount of polygons for something you'll never see. So there's no need to add that. All right. So far, so good. We are kind of creating some different pieces here. Awesome. That looks pretty good. All right. So what we're going to do is go ahead and save, and then we're going to start working on some other pieces up here. So these pieces we can do, I'm going to select these edges. I'm going to add a bevel. I'm going to make these a little bit more rounded, just a little bit like so, just like that. Yeah, just like that. And then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to tilt it up just a little bit. I think that could work. Let's not tilt it. We don't have to tilt it. Let's just see how that goes. And then for this piece, I don't have an idea exactly what I want to do with this piece, but what I could do is do a loop cut here. So let's do a 0, 0 here, right in the center. Then I'll take the inset tool. All right, and then I'll do the same thing here. Negative 0.08. So to make sure that they're about the same. And then what I'll do is add a bevel around the edges of this. And I'm probably going to make this smaller. It's too much. Let's see. There we go. And I'll just put that down to 1. All right. And I'll make it a little smaller, make sure it fits where I need it. Just like so. All right. Next, I'm going to make these a little smaller. And then what I want to do is put a couple of circles here. Oops, 0.09. Not sure if that matters. All right. And I want to put one at the bottom as well. There we go. All right. So it looks like that will work. And then what I could do is do some additional stuff where I can take this and kind of pull it out, extrude that out. There we go. Perfect. And I could extrude these out too. And these could serve as a meter, like a power meter, kind of showing how much if it's charged or not. We have to think that through a little bit, but we can work on that. And then what I'll do is go ahead and pivot that on to the center of that. Let's see here. It's very weird. The pivot is pretty off. So what I'll do is reset all there. And then let's see if we can. So I can move the pivot point myself and just do it this way. That will work for now. All right, awesome. So we have like a little charging meter there. Awesome. All right, next, what we want to do is create this housing part where the actual bulb and everything's going to go. So let me work on this side piece here. So first thing I'll do is go ahead and take this and move this inward like so. This part will be attached to this part. So, and then what I'll do is take this edge in the back. Well, and I'll add a bevel to it. There you go. And I'll add it to make it a little bit more rounded. Awesome. All right. Not too bad. I'll just delete this piece and I'll just copy it over. All right. And then next for this piece here, this is going to be the main light source where the light is actually beaming from. So there's a couple things we could probably do here. First thing I want to do is maybe add a bevel here, make that look a little more interesting. And then let's see here, focus on the shape of the lamp here. So what I'll do is just make sure that we get the shape. I want to maybe do some cuts, and so I'll do a slice cut like that. Put one there, and maybe one there. And then I'll go ahead and kind of shape this out a little bit. So I'll just take this, oops, make sure it's centered, kind of like so. It's not too bad. Just want to make sure it kind of comes out like that a little bit. And then on top of that, what we want to do is take this and maybe go up some. There we go. And then what I want to do is add a little bit of bevel to all these points here. I don't know if that's what I want, but let's see. Not 100% sure I like that, but let's see if we can pull this out and help it a little bit. It's okay. Not quite. Not quite. Let's see here. Instead, I'll just pull this out like this. That could work. And then for the bottom part, what I actually want to do is kind of make all these one face. So I'll go ahead and combine those faces. Then I'm going to use the inset tool to create this here. And then I'll use the push-pull tool. Tell you what, maybe I won't do it that way. And maybe I will use the inset tool on all these pieces like this. There we go. And there. All right. And then I'll take this and kind of bring it down like that. So it kind of gives us like a surface to kind of use specifically for the lamp. That could work. All right. And then what else can we do with this? Think two forward. Awesome. And then for this piece here, I'll just go ahead and add a nice little bevel to the top, kind of clean it up a little bit, just like that. Then I'll use the inset tool, kind of create this, and then use the to put that in, so like that. All right. Cool. And then last but not least, the back. What I want to do is take these edges and bevel those. That actually seemed like it could work. I wonder if I bevel these, would that work? Yeah, actually. And then I'll just take this here and pull this out a little bit. There we go. And I would argue maybe this can go down a little. There we go, yeah. All right, not too bad. And let's see if we can get, oops. See if I can get a decent bevel on this. Not too bad. Okay. All right, so I would call that like a phase 2 there, where we have like something like a lamp. It's kind of futuristic. Never seen anything on the street that looks like this. These will be the bulbs area, and this is just kind of some mumbo jumbo type of technology looking things. This here again could be like showing like if it's charged or not, and this here will serve as like It's checking for the sun, maybe. It's like it's charged by the sun. Let's see. That could work. Yeah, we'll see why not. I think that could work. And because it's charged by the solar power, let's see if I could make it a little bit more. I would say maybe it should be a bit more like angled. Yeah, like it should be able to see the sun. Like the light should get in it. There we go. All right. So that's not too bad. Not quite done just yet, but I think that is a good step so far. Now I want to add a few more details to it. All right. So now what I want to do to kind of finish this off a little bit here, I'm going to add a few more details here. So let's go ahead and do that. So one of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to this guy here, and I just want to add like a little slot here, and I'll use the push pull tool to kind of push that in, and just for fun I'll do another one. All right, cool. There we go. Not terrible. And then down here, what I want to do is I'm going to take, see, maybe I can use the arc tool. I'm going to take this tool and do, no, and then I'm going to take this, no, that wasn't my intention. And actually, I don't want to do it this way. I think I want to do it this way. So what I'll do is take the circle, and the circle can have 12 segments, and I'll do up. So when you see something like this and you know it should be like a perfect circle, what you probably want to do, actually, let me get rid of that, is select an object. I'm going to select this object. I'm going to go down, and what we want to do is reset the X form and reset all. And so now if I were to draw the circle, should get a proper circle. Little pro tip, I guess. All right, so I'm going to draw that circle there, and then I'll draw the circle here as well. And all right, and then what I want to do is take this tool, do that, do that. Not sure if this is going to work the way I thought. All right, and I'm gonna go in. Not sure if this works. So what I'll do is go ahead and do a combine faces. That didn't work as the way I imagined. So what I think what I might do, because this is not working that way, I'm going to create this square here, or rectangle, using the rectangle tool. I always call it the square tool, but it's the rectangle tool. And what I'll do is just kind of move it a little bit. And then what I'll do is take the arc, see if this will work. Take this arc, see if that will work. And then I'll go into face mode. So if you can see, I could delete those. I don't know if I need to. What I really want to do is this, but that's not working. So I'll do that. There we go. That's not terrible. Yeah, it's not terrible. I think that could work if I left it like that. There we go. It's pretty clean for the most part. There's many ways to do things, but you know, you can get away with some things if it's not like all in the view. All right, so it looks pretty good. All right, so I've added some details there. Let's see where else could we do some interesting things. I could let's look at I don't know. I think that's pretty good there. I can always create like some shapes that you might use in this type of design. That could be interesting, I guess we can say, like this. But I don't think I would want to do that. I don't think I like that. I think I like what I have so far. All right. And let's see what else is here that we could do. Let me go ahead and clean this out some. All right. Not too bad. All right. And then last but not least, maybe I'll create some type of cable that comes from out of here. So what I'll do is just do a inset here, and actually let me take this piece and make sure that is reset all, and then I'll just do an insert. Hold on just a second. All right. Let me go ahead and hit save. All right, and then make sure this is good. All right, and then what I'm going to do is use the push-pull tool. I'm just going to go up in. So we want to make it look like a cable is coming out of here, right? That's what we want to do. All right, so there's a couple ways we can probably do a cable. We can use the follow tool, which is pretty easy. So the follow tool just requires a couple different things. So one thing that we need is a line, and the second thing we need is a face or a polygon for that to follow. So what I'll do first is create the circle that I need, basically. So I can probably use a disk to do this. So I'll do a disk that should give me a single face just like that. And I can go ahead and change it in size based on what I need. All right, and I'll just kind of do like one cable, I guess, for now. And then the other thing we need is a polyline tool. So to do that, I'll just go ahead and click polyline, and I can click. Now this is going to be weird, but I'm going to click like this, and then I'm just going to manipulate it as I need it, just like so. All right. So I kind of wanted to start from, I guess, about this point, and I wanted to kind of look more like a cable that may have been coming out of here, and maybe that cable is going into this piece here, like that, because this is an important thing. So I'm gonna do maybe something like that. All right, and then we have the face, and we have this line here, right? And so really what we're trying to do is now select the line, and then what I want to do is go to my follow tool. So I'll go down to follow, and then it's going to want me to select the face, and then we have our cable. Awesome. So we have our cable there, and we can probably duplicate this cable if you wanted to. Not sure if we need to, but could. I don't know if we need to though. Looks like it works one way or another. Awesome. And I would say that that's pretty much done. We can continue to mess with some other things like this part here. I could probably add a little bit more to it, like maybe make it a little skinnier. Not sure if I need to though. I can also thinking about doing something like this. Oops. Could do something like that, but I'm not sure that makes any difference. I think it's just me using the tools at that point. All right, cool. All right, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it. And if we want, what we can do is now add some lightings to this. So I could add some materials to this. I'll go ahead and save. And then what I'll do is go in, add a material to this. So we got that there, and it's really just to add a light source. So I could go with this white, and these would be kind of that, and I would assign just like that, just like that. And then in terms of this area here, I can assign this as well. So what I'll do is take this, and then what I'll do is duplicate this. I'm just going to call this green, and this is just block. This is just me putting in some color just so that you can get an idea of what the expected should look like. And so what I'll do here is go down to materials, and I'm just going to assign an additional color here, and then I'll just select the two faces I need, just like that. So those are green, and then technically that's pretty much it. We could make this yellow. Let's see here. I'll do one more extra color just for fun. And let's go ahead and make that more like a yellow. There we go. All right, and I'll just sample that one just for that. And then I'll just go down and do the same thing. There we go. All set. And so that's going to be where it pulls in the sun, and the idea is that will pull in the sun, and then this will charge it, and then this will give off a lamp look. And I would say that's pretty much it for our sci-fi lamp. We can continue to add more to it, but I think for now this will work perfectly fine. Okay, great. I hope that it didn't take too long. This was a low poly lamp post designed to be in a sci-fi style scene. I would say it's done for now, but of course we would want to do other things like UV and texture. This object will probably be UV'd using the cube method, and then I will simply just use a color palette to texture and assign the faces to the appropriate color spot. Well, other than that, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell so that you don't miss out on the next release. I'll see you guys in the next one.